नमस्ते बेटा, खुश रहिए आप लोग। आई माई सेल्फ जीवन प्रतिष्ठा Kanshi, working as an assistant professor in optometry discipline in the faculty of physiotherapy and diagnostics. I am working in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University in Jaipur. It is the first state government women's university in Rajasthan. Now, today I will try to discuss the topic blood supply of uveal tract. But before this, I would like to revise the previous topic of uveal tract. What was uveal tract and what its functions? A quick summary I would like to discuss before starting my new topic. The uveal tract is a pigmented vascular layer lying between the retina and sclera. It consists of the iris, ciliary body and the choroid, lying in the continuity with one another apart from the specialized muscular structures of the iris and the ciliary body. The uveal tract is considered the nutrition of the eye through the secretion of aqueous humor by the epithelium of ciliary body and with the maintenance of the outer retina from the choroidal circulation. That is, this one is the only layer which is the color layer, provide nutrition to the eye, and it consists of from the front of the eye to the back of the eye. Melanocytes derived from the neural crest contain melanin in melanosomes and are secreted throughout the tract. There is both an inter-individual and interracial difference in their relative concentration, which accounts for the color of the iris and the degree of fundus pigmentation. In contrast, the pigment epithelium of the iris and retina is derived from the neuroectoderm of the optic curve. Pigmentation appears here at 6 to 8 weeks of gestation, whereas pigmentation of the iris and choroid is not complete until about 9th month of age. Okay, now we will come to our original lecture, that is the blood supply of the uveal tract. The uveal tract and especially the choroid has an exceptionally high blood flow. For this reason, only about 3% of the oxygen carried is exerted. The choroid supplies oxygen to the retinal pigments epithelium and photoreceptor by diffusion. Metabolites are transported through the pigment epithelium to and from the retina by active transport processes. Okay, this have you understand that how the blood supply and oxygen is transmitted through other layers by the choroid. The vascular supply of the uveal tract comes from the posterior ciliary circulation, enteromosis anteriorly with the anterior ciliary arteries. The short posterior ciliary arteries leave the ophthalmic artery posteriorly in the orbit and run forward to penetrate the sclera circumferentially around the optic disc, usually in the major horizontal trunks, and divide to supply the optic disc, retrobulbar optic nerve and choroid. At the disc, two long posterior ciliary branches from the from these run forward medially and laterally. In the lamina suprachoroidea to entermost, when the anterior ciliary artery is adjacent to the major circle of the iris. These long posterior ciliary arteries can frequently be seen in the horizontal meridians of the normal eye if the retinal pigmentation is not too dense. The anterior ciliary arteries are also derived from the ophthalmic artery. They lie on the external ocular muscles. Two arteries on the median, inferior and superior recti, and one on the lateral, and penetrate the sclera at the muscle insertion and may contribute to the supply of the iris. Ciliary body and anterior choroid, although under normal circumstances in a healthy eye, the flow is retrograde. The choroidal venous return drains into the orbital veins by the vortex veins, of which there is usually one but sometimes two lying in each quadrant of the sclera at the equator. Now, the vascular supply of the choroid or by the anterior and posterior ciliary circulations, and these are the blood supply of uveal tract. How the uveal tract is supplying blood, in which the three structures are composed. First one is the iris, then the ciliary body, then the choroid. These all supplied by this. The ciliary body extends from the scleral spur to the ora serrata. Under higher magnification, the details of pars placida and the two layers of ciliary epithelium, the zonular fiber and the major arterial circle of the iris can be seen. At the ora serrata, the neurosensory retina becomes attenuated and cystic and terminated by the blood supply of uveal tract. Okay, this all is about the uveal tract blood supply. And have you ever listened the name choriocapillaries? Choriocapillaries are the name after the choroid plus capillaries. What are the choroid and capillaries? The most posterior and largest portion of the uvea is the choroid. Provide nourishment to the outer retina, especially in the region of macula, and regulates ocular temperature. Microvessels in the uveal tract bear basic similarities to the capillaries or vasculature of other tissues and organs, and have a similar ultrastructure and organisms. Although ultrastructure and organization, although the lumen of choriocapillaries vessels is of usually wide caliber compared to other capillary beds. The capillaries in the ciliary processes are large and fenestrated, as are those in choriocapillaries, whereas in other zones of the uveal tract, the capillaries are non-fenestrated. There are no lymphatics in the mammalian uveal tract. However, the uveal tract is richly involved with population of immune cells, including macrophages, dendritic cells, and connective mass cells. Understanding the phenotype, distribution, and function of these key resident players in immune regulation is critical to unravel the complex nature of variety of intraocular inflammatory responses. Then the uvea and the middle coat of the eye, eye consists of a highly pigmented vascular layer composed of heterogeneous type of mesenchymal cells including fibroblasts, melanocytes, and vascular supporting cells that arise mostly from the neural crest but also from the mesoderm, including vascular endothelial cells. The uveal tract is divided into three distinct portions. The iris, it performs several functions. The anterior uvea, the iris, is a diaphragm of the eye regulating the light that enters the eye through the pupil. And it regulates the middle portion. The ciliary body is essential for the lens accommodation, aqueous humor production and formation. The most posterior is the largest portion of the uvea, that is the choroid. That's all for about the blood supply of the uvea and a quick summary about the uveal tract, which was learned in the last uveal tract lecture. So that's all for today. Today's lecture study in A.K. Khurana ophthalmology and have a look in book and stay at home, be safe. I will be uploading next lecture soon and thank you so much. Khush rahiye.